Welcome to the Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Dennis. In addition to leading the charge at Wedding IQ, I also run Fantasy Sound Event Services, a lighting and entertainment company based in Livermore, California, that I founded over 30 years ago. Each week on this podcast, you'll hear thought-provoking and empowering interviews with wedding professionals who have found success in the industry. If you're a business-minded wedding pro who loves love, but also cares about their bottom line, buckle up and get ready to learn from a new industry expert each week. All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. I'm your host, Kevin Dennis, and here today I am with Ashley Ebert of the Abundance Group. How are you, Ashley?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
All right. Ashley's going to be talking about how I stopped working weekends. I almost wanted to say weddings, but I didn't. And I'm going to do a little Freudian slip there. And built a six-figure salary as a true owner. But before we do that, Ashley, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how we got you here today?
Yes. For those of you that aren't familiar with my work, I'm Ashley Ebert. I have been in the wedding industry for over 15 years. And I think like in dog years, I'm 100. Probably, right? In the wedding world, you age for sure with all that we have to go through, but spent over a decade owning a planning company. And, you know, there's just a special, I think, connection all wedding pros have. So I say you're in the family with me. If you're a wedding pro, we're in the wedding pro fam together. And like I say, the planning company itself, we grew it to 7 markets, a team of 35. We did 1.2 million in sales. I actually sold it last year in an acquisition for over $1 million. And a lot of people go, Ash, how did you do that? And my response is, let me show you. Let me show you, give you all the goods. I don't gatekeep anything. I love to, again, help out wedding pros in the world. And with that, moved over to the Abundance Group because people ask me, how do I grow a business that feels that gives me freedom and feels light and enjoyable versus really heavy and kind of, you know, working every single weekend, having to say no to stuff that you want to do. So that's my mission, Kevin. I'm here to help the wedding pro family get out of the loop.
I love it. And if you're 100 in dog years, I'm not going to tell you how old I am in dog years then, because
how long have you been in the industry, Kevin?
I started in 89. So I am
okay.
old.
Yeah. You win. You get more medals than we do.
I'll be I'm going to be winning. I don't know about winning. I just might be extinct if we're using your math. So
funny.
All right. So Ashley, give us a quick overview how you went from building, you know, the amazing wedding planning company to now helping wedding pros through the Abundance Group.
Yeah. I did. I just got asked, you know, how do you have so much joy and love for this industry when you're this far in? And I think a lot of people, especially in the wedding world, it's soulpreneurship. It's kind of doing the grind by yourself. And they knew I had a really large team and they were curious about it. How are you doing this? And again, I'm like, literally, I'm more than happy to. I don't think I'm special, right? I work hard and love on people, and that's the secret. And, you know, let me share everything I got with you. So probably about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years into the business, I kind of organically just started kind of coaching and doing coffees and teaching people a way to do it very strategically that didn't just suck the life out of them, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times in this beautiful industry of ours, the creativity allures you in, and you know the serving of our customers and being a part of such a incredible day for couples. But we don't always have the business acumen that other, you know, entrepreneurship verticals have. And you know, so really, that's, I think, the special sauce that I have is really building a business with strategy. So it feels seamless and sustainable. And so kind of once I started to get asked, you know, those questions by so many, I'm like, maybe there's something here that maybe the community needs this. So, again, we started the Abundance Group almost 10 years ago, and we're going strong. Now we do it through a mastermind community. So I coach one-on-one every single day with all of my members. They get in-person experiences, all my courses. It's a very deep, integrated program. It's I think different than anything that's out there. Again, you can come and talk to me every single day, which I just have such a deep relationship with all those that are in the community. So that's kind of how I moved from the wedding world to what I do now.
I love it. All right. Well, you built a business with 7 locations and 35 team members while, stepping away from constantly working weekends. Was there like a turning point or this was it a wedding that you went, "Oh, I'm done," like drop the mic or, what happened?
Yes, her name was Gretchen, was the
Oh,
mother of the bride that I
oh my God, it's real.
we could go deep into
Yeah.
that. Um, but I think what I realized in this moment, I think, unfortunately, so many wedding professionals have a moment like this,
Mhm.
where they're just like, how am I doing this? Why am I giving my time, my energy, and sometimes feeling undervalued and underappreciated? And literally her name was Gretchen. She was a drunk mother of the bride, blackout drunk by 6:30 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, and she physically put her hands on me and, uh, was screaming profanity in my face in the middle of the ballroom in front of everybody, and I just kept saying to her, "Gretchen, you're gonna have to take your hands off me, though.
Yeah.
Gretchen, you're gonna have to take your hands off me, though." And so I broke away and got my second assist and the photographer. They're all just mouth open looking at what's
Yeah,
happening. I get them into, safety, feeling like, they're okay. And I go, "I need a minute." I walked out to my car and I proceeded to absolutely lose it and
of
fall. And I
course.
was like, how is this? This is not what I was, what I bought into when I left the corporate world to come into weddings. And I share that story, and there's so many people that have a Gretchen, and there's so many wedding pros that they're like, "Why am I doing this?" And I really started to give a name to what I think so many people call burnout and why it's happening. So I call it the hustle loop. Like we're stuck in this loop together, where we're over delivering for our clients because we want them to be, taken care of. You're immediately responding to everything. Again, nights, weekends, whatever. We kind of feel like we're always on call no matter what. And they're doing it all themselves because they haven't necessarily built a team. So this is what I call that hustle loop. And that was what was happening in that moment, kind of literally personified as a person of
Mhm.
like, I'm giving this everything I've got. And this has got to stop. I've got to get out of this belief of I have to overfunction and overserve and do all of this. And so a lot of the times when wedding pros come to me, they're like, "Ashley, I'm in the hustle loop. I
Yeah.
need a way out." And again, that is absolutely what I want to be helpful with on how to put on guardrails, how to build a business strategically and think like a business owner and not just a creative that's trying to overserve, right?
Yeah, and I say that a lot, and I say it on the podcast a lot, is a lot of us are really good at the creative, the art
Yeah.
part of the weddings, but we are very bad at the business side
Mhm.
of it.
It
So,
is.
yeah.
And
Wow.
it's not I think it's, like, not even necessarily, like again, I'm, like, protective of I know the self-talk of our community. It's like, it's not even that people are bad at it, it's just, like, you haven't even been introduced to it.
Yeah.
Because you get in the throes of the work and you create the art and you're in it, right? And so you don't even have time to, like, orient yourself on what should I be doing that can buy my time back, and how can I do this in a way that builds sustainability and isn't just serving the one client and then on to the next and on to the next, right? So
Yeah.
I always say like it just there's not a lot of resources out there for the wedding community to really speak our language and make this in a way where we can still have the level of excellence that we expect with our, service delivery, but also just have kind of that backbone of the sustainable business.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, and I just recently, I didn't have anything as crazy as you, but I had a mom named Lonnie that I just still
You
to
have a
this
lot of
day.
stuff.
Yeah, I have a Lonnie story, but it
It
just every
is.
time
Yeah.
I get infuriated every time I hear that name. So anyway,
100%. I'm like, "No more Gretchens, babe." Like, we
yeah,
can't have
yeah,
it in our
I can
life.
imagine.
We have to
I can imagine when you hear Gretchen out in the wild, you cringe.
It's a little like, yeah, you're like, "Oh, where?" Just ready for any for anything.
Exactly. You're ready on all sides like a ninja. All right.
100%.
All right, Ashley, why do so many wedding pros believe working nonstop is just part of the job?
I think because they equate, you know, having boundaries with, "I'm gonna lose the relationship with the client."
Mhm.
And actually the opposite is true, right? So if we hold ourselves to, emailing, certain hours of the day, you're not going to text me. Like if we hold those boundaries, what actually happens is the client respects you more. And that's, I think, if we can get out of that belief of like, I'm just going to be there, I'm going to add value however I can, like this over serving heart that I think, again, so many have, but realizing that it's creating burnout, it's creating the hustle loop, it's creating all of these ancillary effects that I don't think we always justify. Like what I when I'm coaching in my community, I always say, and at what cost? You're doing
Hmm.
something and there is always a cost. And so when we're over delivering and we're, answering emails at 1 in the morning, if we're not taking a day to recover from the weekend, there is a cost to that. And a
Yeah.
lot of the times we think it is, I'm just building the relationship, I'm just taking care of them, but actually you're not because you're running yourself into the ground and now you
Yeah.
can't actually show up for them, right? So that's what I would say is really making sure that you're setting boundaries. And again, it's not like you're not kind and approachable and have a great relationship with them. Both of those things can exist. And I think a lot of the times wedding pros think and sometimes I feel like if I can be real honest, Kevin, with your audience,
Of course.
sometimes this comes from a place of confidence, of you don't necessarily have that confidence in your skill set, so you over deliver because you want to make sure that they're not going to write a 1-star review or they're going to be really happy. And the industry is so relationship based that it's like I have to
Yeah.
make sure that everyone loves me 100 out of 100 on a scale, right? But really, again, at what cost? At what cost are we
Yeah.
doing?
No, that's
Yeah.
a good point. I mean, the biggest change like I ever did in my business was set boundaries with
Mhm.
clients. And at first they were like minimal, and they are to where they are today. Like I only do like new client meetings on Thursday, Friday. Tuesday's an internal day for the company. Wednesday is like another, like I do a lot of podcasting and work out in the warehouse with the guy, like I have my, and once I kind of segmented it out and really got there, like life became a little clearer and a little easier and things got better. So boundaries, I'm a big believer, you have to have the boundaries. So
When I
it
think you said something really important. You said you at in the beginning, they were minimal, right?
Mhm.
You kind of step into creating boundaries,
Yeah. Yeah.
because again, that does grow your confidence that like, "Oh, actually that did end up okay, and the client did understand that that was important." And
Mhm.
you kind of grow these systems and these boundaries over time, and you realize that in your business ecosystem, it actually allows you to better serve your client.
Yeah.
But again, you don't start with, creating a policy across the board and all of these different
Yeah.
things. You're not changing
Drop the
everything.
iron
Yeah,
fist. Yeah, you're not
right,
dropping it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
spot on.
Well, and I think too, in today's world of business, having the tech that's available, it's a little bit easier to set boundaries too, I think.
Back in the day, Kevin, when we
Yeah.
didn't have
I know.
CRMs and stuff
Well, or even
or
like
AI
just
or
an
anything, yeah.
appointment scheduler or
Mhm.
any, like
Yeah,
nowadays, like remember making an appointment, are you available this day? And then you don't hear from them. And then someone else takes that time and it's
yeah,
that you had that back and forth. And nowadays it's like, here's the link and pick it
yeah,
when you're ready. When you're ready to make an appointment, here it is,
yeah,
you know, and,
100%.
and go. So,
Mhm.
all right. So, Ashley, what do you think the difference between operating the business and actually becoming the business owner is? Like, what's the
Ooh,
difference?
this is a great question. So there's a lot of conversation out there about becoming the CEO of your business.
Okay.
And I have a very, shall we say, different perspective. I think being the CEO of your business is the hardest job ever. I want to be an owner of the business. I want to build a business where I hire a CEO. I
Mhm.
hire a managing director. They're taking on basically all of that, leadership issues, systems, all the things that a CEO does. I want to sit in the owner's seat. So that's kind of a differentiator and a mindset shift that I talk about with my community. Like I want there to be an org chart where you have a buffer from all of those issues. Like that's the dream life. A lot of people would look at me and you know, I I always say bigger businesses, a lot of people think are more difficult to run. It's why I hear a lot of tension about building teams and all of this. I'm like, $1 million business was 10 times easier to run than $100,000 business.
Yeah.
It was, right?
Well, you got
And
the
so,
help. You got the
yeah,
support.
you have
Yeah.
other people in a shared mission. and they're giving their time, their talent, their skills to
Hmm.
your dream. How rad is that? Like, how
Yeah, for
cool
sure.
is that?
100%.
And we get all gnarled up because maybe we've had a bad boss in the past and we don't want to be that again. Like, because I love our community and I love the heart and soul of who this community is, a lot of the times they don't want to build a bigger business because it's going to be more challenging and people are messy and all of these hard things. And I'm like I say, I can tell you, I used to work before I sold Simply Elegant, I would work 5 hours a week. I made a six-figure salary. My managing director dealt with all the stuff in the middle. I
Hmm.
was the one sitting as the visionary. I was the one, getting the team excited because that's one of my strengths is getting the team bought in and really excited about something. And I leveraged those things. But again, I had built a business where I had a person that was a buffer between me and that.
Hmm.
And I took care of her well. Like we are dear, dear friends to this day, even after I've sold the business. She worked for me for over 10 years. And again, what a gift. What a gift that is to have someone of that caliber run behind your vision. And so I think a lot of the times people think bigger businesses just mean all this gnarled complexity, and it doesn't have to be that way. So again, ownership for me is the goal. I'm a big Disney nerd, so I wanna be at Disney, like, once a quarter with my family, completely checked out. I don't care what's happening in the business. I don't care if it's sales season. I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
And ownership, the lens of ownership, I think really solidifies a posture of decision making, for wedding pros to have that freedom that I think they're really seeking.
Yeah. Well, and I don't I 100% agree with you, but I also think you probably built a good culture somewhere along the way too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's where, like you
absolutely.
said, it made me think of it when you said, "I come in and I rally up the team," that's part of building that great culture, and then that gets
Mhm.
them excited to come to work every day, so,
Well, again, they're giving me their most valuable resource.
yeah, them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and their time and their energy and who they are, right? Like, I wanna honor that. I wanna create a place where they don't wanna leave it. That's,
yeah,
like, the whole ball game, right? And again, I was just so blessed over the years and continue to be at the Abundance Group. We have a killer team there too, and the culture of even the mastermind feels like.
yeah,
And I think the biggest skill we can learn to have an impact is leadership. And building the culture of your community, whether that's, again, me serving the mastermind now or leading the team. It's the same exact skill set, which is lucky because, I don't need to learn 1,000 things if I could be good at one, right?
so true. Well, it's just like there's things in my business that I don't know how to do, but I have people that know how to do it, and yeah,
Mhm.
as long as they know how to do it, great. And that's where I think a lot of business owners, you don't have to be everything. You can hire good people to take care of, you know, the X, Y, and the Z part of it, and things will be strong and succeed.
Well, and again,
So,
that speaks to trust, right?
yeah.
You trust them, they trust you. If you're really thinking about what it's like to sit in their seat, how are you creating, and the autonomy that you're obviously giving them. If it's like, I don't even know how to do that thing, which there's many things I don't know how to do.
Yeah.
But trusting them, like there's a feeling that they almost have ownership of that. And there's a pride of their work that they do when they're not being micromanaged. And you do now again, you have to hire humans that have character, which is
Mhm.
part of the recruitment and interviewing process, right? We hire with intention, but when you do and you have people that are just immensely talented, it's like let them
Yeah,
run and do their thing. Yeah, absolutely.
for sure. Want to do more than just listen to the conversation? We're always looking for wedding pros to join us as a guest on the Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. If you have insight, experience, or lessons to share, we want you behind the mic. Apply to be a guest and come mind your business with us. All right. So Ashley, what were like the some of the first changes that you made that helped you stop being involved in everything?
I think anybody who knows me, and the pink hair is a little bit of a giveaway, but I'm a risk taker. Like I'm cool to kind of like think out of the box and do things and like figure it out on the way. And so I think really leaning into who I was
Mhm.
That helped create a culture that was in alignment. And not everyone is super risk tolerant. And I think, let's say for someone who's risk averse, one of the benefits of that is typically what I see a lot is the team culture is the one of the highest values is excellence.
Mm.
And that's great. Like, both of those things are great. Like, we can move real fast under Ashley's leadership. We're gonna make some
Mhm.
mistakes, and we're gonna have a good time doing it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But for someone on the other side of the equation, again, being more risk averse, you're gonna have brilliantly built SOPs that the team feels supported in that way, and you're gonna hire people that really are attracted to that. And both businesses are beautiful. Both businesses are successful. And so I think that the number one thing when someone's kind of in that, like, season of, do I build? Maybe you're hitting about $100,000. You're like, do I scale it? This feels like a lot. How do I really break to the next level? It's trust who you are and
Mhm.
build a business around that, and you're going to find the talent that is attracted to that. So I would say that's the first thing that I did. And again, I started my business at 23. I was a baby. I didn't had Kevin. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
I made
the same. I
every
had no idea
mistake
what I
in the
was
book,
doing. Yeah.
right? But I just trusted that we were gonna figure it out, and I was gonna use my strengths, to move the business forward. And I think, again, when I coach inside my community, I don't have a, "This is the way to build your business. This is how I did it. This is how you should do it." That's not how we do things. We
Mhm.
have, principles, and, we build what I call the 6 owner assets. Everybody does that, but everybody builds it in their nuanced way. And
Mm.
again, when you go, "Oh, I'm leading the ship. I can build whatever I darn well please," and leverage the things and your gifts and the things you're good at, like, that's when magic really happens. And again, that looks different for everybody. And
Mhm.
every version of this is really beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. All right, you were talking about trust earlier, so how did you build a team you could actually trust to represent your brand well?
Yeah. I think we alluded to it a little bit of, like, understanding what you care about, like,
Mhm.
understanding, for me, one of the things I really, as a leader, I need my team to be able to work autonomously.
Mhm.
Like, you can screw up and I'll give you full reign and, like, I'll back you, like, but I need you to, like, I can't micromanage you.
Yeah.
If I get lost in the weeds, like, it is not a happy place.
Okay.
It's not a happy place for me. But I have business owners, again, that I coach and work with, that autonomous work is not a value that they have. They
Mm.
want you to follow the procedure because that's how they build trust, right? That's how, uniquely as a business owner, when they know someone's executing the 78-point plan and they're doing it perfectly, right? That makes
Yeah.
them happy and that gives them that feeling of trust. So it's really, I think, embracing that you can build a business however you want, and you're going to, I'm a very trustworthy person. My husband's like, "What are we doing now? We're giving our Social Security number away? I don't think we should do that." Right? But so, and I also just know that about myself, and I know that that's going to cause, and I got the receipts of some bad stories and things that happened to me, but I also value that in who I am.
Mhm.
I get so much more out of building relationships and getting to meet, awesome new people, and that trust and that openness has gained me so much over my life that the losses of bringing someone who was untrustworthy into that,
Mhm.
like, it doesn't compare,
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. And some people, that is, they don't wanna do that. And
Yeah.
again, you can just build it however, you want to as the owner.
I love it. All right. So were there like systems, structures, or like tech that you had to bring in that were critical in helping the business run without you constantly being present?
Yeah. People, I brought
Hmm.
good people in. You'll see a trend here, Kevin. You'll see a
I'm I
trend.
I'm seeing it.
It's a pretty obvious one for me. But yeah, no, bringing the right people that had, different skill sets than me. So one of the things, as a full service wedding planning company, we did have a lot of detail work we had to do. That wasn't my jam. So I
Yeah.
brought in, I think, one of the best planners in the country. And she helped when we were building this over at Simply Elegant, we built this internal system that had all those details and had all that. Um, so, the people, I think, um, and finding those. the people that can surround you that have, the skills if you don't necessarily have those. The other thing I'll say, and you talked about a little bit, just the amount that is available to us right now from a technology perspective,
Hmm.
AI, the tools that are out there, like, it is easier than ever to create whatever size business you want.
Hmm.
And I look back and I'm like, man, I had to do that by hand. I
Yep.
had to everything, like, and now we have, you can vibe code, you can call it co-work is just phenomenal. And I definitely go down rabbit holes and I enjoy AI quite a bit. And we built a lot of systems, but I think that now it's if you can dream it, you can build it. And that's a pretty incredible thing, especially in the entrepreneur world where we are so
Yeah.
creative and we're like, let me think of I did something a couple weeks ago where I was like, there's no way this is possible with AI. No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And literally 12 hours later, me and AI had built it. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, how is this possible? So it's just really fun. I think it's the most fun time to be in the wedding world as an entrepreneur.
No, I agree. And my wife's using AI to buy more things. She wanted shutters in the front of the house, and she took a photo of the front room and said, "Can you put shutters in there and let's see how it looks like?" And she's been doing that's her new favorite thing. Let's so it's
100%.
just the possibilities are endless, and I
Yes.
don't like from us recording today to when the recording comes out to by the end of this year, things are going to change. I mean, that's the
Oh, yeah.
thing with it. It's constantly changing, constantly getting better. So.
I agree.
It's
I
crazy.
agree. It's exciting, right? It's
It
overwhelming.
is. No.
Overwhelming, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I agree. What are some of the biggest mistakes you think wedding pros make when they're trying to scale?
How long do we have on this podcast? I have
Well, you
a
got
laundry list of them.
Let's hear it.
Biggest
Mhm.
mistake I would say, I think first and foremost, trying to look outside of your business and emulate what others are doing,
Mm.
which is probably everybody listening to some degree, right? I
Yeah,
think
very true.
we look at Instagram, we look to see, what content is going viral. We look at websites. We're very visual as creatives, but we look around a lot. And for me, putting blinders on and laser focusing, you know, again, those that are familiar with me, they know I'm a bit of a nerd. I like to research. I love data. I love that can help us make really pointed decisions and intentional decisions in the business. But I think even, worse than maybe not understanding your data is getting caught up in whatever everybody else is doing. And a lot of the times we're not even seeing the full 100% of the time, we're not even seeing the full picture of what
Yeah.
what that business is.
True.
But the other thing is, like, are you actually building the same life? Do you have the same, beliefs? Do you have the same, vision for your business? Do you have the same freedom looks different to everybody. And so if we're trying to emulate someone and their end result is completely different than what we want, it's kind of a complete waste of our time and energy. So I think not putting the blinders on is what I find to be, and again, I coach every single day, all of my mastermind, and that's the one thing where I kind of have to go, hey, like we're missing the point here, because the point of taking such a jump outside of the corporate structure and taking this big risk on this big jump is that you can do whatever you want. You can build
Yeah.
whatever life you want. Why are we getting caught up in worrying about what anybody else is doing?
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good point. I think and that's I mean, social media probably is a big blame for a lot of that because like I'm not working this weekend, but my competitor is out and has
Mhm.
these big jobs and blasting it all over. So, so then you get
Look
all
where they
this.
got published, look at the new
Yeah.
award they got, look at, they're hiring a team, how are they even doing that?
Hmm.
And it's not the full picture. It's never the full picture.
No.
And so you're comparing your lows to their highs, and it's just, of course, that's gonna make everybody feel like crap. And then we're
Yeah.
gonna lose the motivation to push through and have the grit that we need, because this work is hard. Being a business owner is hard. And we have to have the stamina. And so often, if we're looking left and right, we're losing that energy and that stamina to keep on the course. So that's one of the things that I was very blessed. Like, I just didn't, I was like, cool. I'm so glad that you're doing all those things. It's kind of the core of, the abundance mindset. The abundance group is built on that. So I was always very fortunate that that was innate in who I was, but I also learned that I could teach how to move into that mindset, which is, I think, key. But a lot of the times we get lost in the sauce because we're like, oh, that's a pretty feed. And, look at who they partnered with. And I can't believe they actually got that wedding that I tried, that I
Yeah.
also was talking to the client. And we just get all gnarled up. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
There's no reason for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big believer. Not every wedding is for you. Like you got to learn that you can't do them all, and they're not. Not everyone. And you learn that I think when you get a wedding that the Gretchens
I was going to say
of
Gretchen,
yeah,
really
yeah.
Gretchen Milani.
When you get
No, thank you.
when you get those weddings, you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done
You're right.
that.
I don't
Yeah,
want this money. This ain't
yeah.
worth it. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. So, want to share your expertise with the wedding industry? Wedding IQ is written by wedding pros for wedding pros, bringing real insight, education, and experience to the forefront. If you have something to say and a passion for helping others grow, we'd love to feature your voice on the blog. Head to weddingiq.com to learn more about becoming a contributor. All right,
Yep.
you were talking about mindsets, and what was the mindset shift that did you personally have to make in order to like step into that true CEO role?
Yeah, I think again, I've been very lucky that I had the abundance mindset. I just kind of always am a very optimistic person. I'm very risk tolerant, so I'll just run through. Again, it's not for the faint of heart. Like I've caused a lot of my problems. Like I I also know this. Um and the belief that like future me is going to figure it out. I have confidence in her and she's going to be great, and we're going to create a wild journey on the way, and not everything is going to be perfect, nor I mean, what kind of progress do you make if that's the bar? None, you're paralyzed. And I have to coach quite a bit of my clients through that, of like, this wasn't the way we wanted it to go, but hey, what did we learn from that? And that was the value. That wasn't a loss, right? And the idea of failure only exists when you give up, and you have full control of when and if you ever give up. That's pretty empowering, I think.
It really is.
So really thinking about that and going like, I can never lose unless I stop.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean there aren't seasons where you have to slow down or, for whatever reason. But again, I always say like entrepreneurship it's like a technicolor world we get to live in. And it's so rad and it's so much fun. And again, it's like, do I have hardships? I had a employee steal $20,000 from me. Like, was that
Yeah.
fun?
No.
No. And would I trade anything for it? Absolutely not. Like I love all the ups and downs. It's cliche or whatever, but enjoy the journey because the journey is about to be wild. Like, yeah, you have to some degree.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. You got to learn, and you just got to take it as like, wow, that was a great lesson I learned. Like
Hmm.
I had an employee once write a blog, put it on our about like because that was back as blog. It
Hmm.
was about travel,
Yeah.
and they took a photo that was free off the internet on and put it on our
Mm.
blog, and come to find out it was free if Ashley, you wanted to put it on your personal social media, but
Mm.
if a business wanted to do it, they didn't read all the way down. Yeah,
Sure.
it cost me $18,000
Yeah.
for a stupid photo that we had the views on the blog that had about maybe 20 views. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
20 view. You paid what?
yeah,
$1,200 a view?
yeah,
Um,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? But it just
yeah.
but you got to take it as like that sucks, but you learn, and you take your lumps and you move on, and you don't make those mistakes ever again.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's creating you to be the business owner that's going to allow you to be the next level.
Yeah,
Like the big losses, they build a grit in you and they build a perseverance in you that if you didn't have those things happen, that you wouldn't become the person you need to be. And so for me, I'm like, bring it on. That's why I kind of have
yeah,
this like, let's just go and figure it out. Cause there's gonna be a whole lot of wins that are way easier than I think they are. But there's
yeah,
also gonna be losses. And I need that tension. I need that, of building of character and of knowledge that is going to make me. And that's why, people would say you have a business that does 7 figures a year. I couldn't have done that at 25. I had to go, and the wins didn't teach me that. The
No.
wins didn't teach me. It was all the crap that I had to, I bought a business that I shouldn't have bought. Luckily, we never had lawsuits against us. Now we were very relational, so we could work through those. Did I have clients that were unhappy with me? 1000%.
Yeah.
Um, and there's Gretchen, but those are the moments that made it so that, I could hold my nervous system could hold that I could build $1 million business. And had I not had any of that, like I would never wish and on my, on my
Hmm.
members in the mastermind, I'm like, I'm not here wishing that you have a perfectly, easy route. Like that is a disservice to you. I'm here for you for all of the lows and we're going to work through it together. You have someone by your side always. But I don't want you to have, a completely easy path because
Hmm.
that's never going to uplevel you. That's not the point. And that
Yeah.
should be thrown out that that's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. All right. So, $1 million question here, right here. So,
Yeah.
how
Love
can wedding pros increase profitability without simply taking on more weddings?
it. Charge more money.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun. There we go.
Mic drop.
Nailed it. I have 3 words. No, but here's what comes with that, right? A lot of
Okay.
people, they'll raise rates, they're gonna raise their, base price $1,000.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, well, they're not closing the leads, right? They're like, "Oh," and then they're, or they're gonna go to the luxury market, but, like, then you hear crickets. And
Yeah.
what's actually happening underneath is the business owner doesn't feel confident enough that that service or, that deliverable is actually worth it.
Mm.
So they're doing all these micro things in the sales process that tells the potential client like, I don't know that the value's there either. And so a lot of the times it's what's underneath it is a belief and a mindset shift that you've built the SOPs, you've built up the client experience, you've built up the brand, all of those things. That's actually what gets you to be able to charge those rates, but it's actually all in here. Like if you
Hmm.
believe that if you believed and at a soul level that your services were worth that, you'd have no trouble selling it. So actually as a coach, a lot of my work is that mindset shift and what systems and things are we putting in place that now empowers you to believe that your services are worth $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, raise your rates, and then a huge caveat of all this other stuff, of why that happens and how it actually, plays out that you can be more profitable.
Yeah, I went to a conference one time, and the speaker was talking about that every 50 weddings, they raise it. That's their mark.
Sure.
They raise, and I'm like, everyone has to have that mark, like people do it, every year, every 2 year, everyone has a different time.
Well,
But
and like, you think about that, like how arbitrary is that, right? Like
yeah,
50 weddings, a year, whatever, 12 months on a calendar. But what is that doing? Psychologically, it's because they have more experience and they believe that with that experience deserves a higher rate. So again, if I can sit and work with you and we can do, a couple coaching calls back to back about mindset, all of a sudden you're raising your rates $1,000 in a couple sessions and not in 12
yeah,
months
yeah,
because we're curing the roots of the problem. And
hmm,
and yeah, but absolutely. I mean, like you say, it's just an arbitrary time, but what's actually happening on the surface is you believe the value's there.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what matters.
All right, so delegation. So, what role does delegation play in creating both like freedom and growth?
I think you can't have freedom without it. You
Okay.
in the industry that we're in, if I don't wanna be shackled to working every single night and weekend, and, if my goal is to make a six-figure take-home pay, the amount of clients I would have to serve and the demand of that, like, I don't of course you feel burnout because what you have probably, depending upon what you're charging for services, 10, 20, 30 clients you're working with. That's
Hmm.
30 weekends that you're not in control of. And
Yeah.
so without a team, without delegating, you're trading time for money.
Yeah.
And, there it's real snazzy and cool to say at multiple streams of income and just charge for a template and all that stuff and diversify but at the end of the day, the easiest path is to build the team. The easiest path is to work on how you can be a great leader, how you can build that team culture that you've talked about. Because building a template or you're potentially building a whole new audience and a whole new business. Like
Hmm.
that's way harder. That's way harder.
It
And I
is.
oftentimes coach my clients around doing that. I'm like, what's the why behind why we're doing this? Like for me, I deeply knew at a soul level, I'm here to help wedding professionals.
Hmm.
I truly don't think I'll ever pivot out of this industry. There's a lot of coaches that do for whatever reason. I'm like, I'm here. I love it here. That's my why. But if you're trying to do all these different things and diversify whatever because you want these multiple streams of income so that you don't have to work every single week, I'm like, that's the hardest way to do this.
Hmm.
Delegation and bringing people on board and getting them behind your vision, that's the much simpler path to freeing up your time. And now, I mean, I have so many messages from my clients of like the moment that they hired a team member and that team member served a client, they got a 5-star review and they made money while they sat at home on the weekend. And they're like,
Yeah.
"What is this? This is like the best thing." And I'm like, "I know. This is
Mhm.
what I've been trying to tell you, you know." So I mean, delegation, I think, really unlocks freedom for a wedding professional.
Yeah. That's amazing. All right. What are some of the signs someone has built themselves a demanding job instead of a scalable business?
Yeah, that everything falls on their plate. They're in that hustle loop. They're doing it alone, right? They're
Okay.
over delivering. It's that is you have a very demanding job at that point. You have a job that I don't think anybody wants. Because the it really stops with you. You will always trade your time for money. You will be stuck in a like I say, the loop of making sure all your clients are okay, plus taxes and your CRM and the marketing strategy and all the things. And so it's not even that you have a really demanding job, it's that you have a really demanding job and you own a business around it. Like, you have to do
Yeah.
all the things that a business owner has to do. And, again, that's why people come to me and start working with us inside the mastermind of like, I wanna get out of that. And
Hmm.
I wanna do everything I can to help people get out of that mentality. But yeah, I think a lot of wedding professionals know it, right? They know when they don't even really wanna wake up and work today. They wanna just sit in bed rot and they wanna hide under their covers and watch Netflix or scroll, right? Like, if that is where you're sitting, that to me is a huge indicator that you've built yourself a really tough job, and I don't want you to be sitting in there doing that.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting to the end, but I wanted to ask you one more question. For someone listening who feels trapped in the hustle loop right now, what's the first thing they should change?
Call me. Come find me on Instagram. Like, I have tons of resources free. Like, I want to give them away to people. But really, I think the first thing to do is just acknowledging that you, and sometimes I say this in the best way. I say, you know, understanding your diamond shoes are too tight. And what I mean by that is you have diamond shoes, like, that's pretty
Hmm.
rad, like, that's really valuable, but shoes that are too tight, that sucks still, like, that's
Yeah.
not fun, and I think a lot of the times for those wedding pros that are in the hustle loop, they forget the 5 years ago version of themselves that would have, like, died for as many clients as they have. So I think acknowledging that you've created this beautiful demand for yourself, and it is still hard.
Hmm.
So there's a gratitude practice that's underlying there of going, "Man, I've worked so hard and I'm so grateful for all that I have, and I still have to find a solution to get out of this." And
Yeah.
again, I joke, but like I truly do have tons of resources. I've been in the game a long time as a coach, and I'd love to give them away to your community. So if that's ever helpful, come find me.
Yeah.
But truly, like I say, I think there is this stopping, breathing intentionality of going like the hustle is real and I'm only hustling because of the abundance of opportunity that I've created for myself. And sometimes that kicks us out a little bit enough to go, ah, yeah, that, this is what I worked hard for. And I still want to find a way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There should be a light at the end of the tunnel for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
For sure.
there
Yeah.
always is, and I think, there's so many educators in this space, yourself, so many of my friends that are here that really truly wanna help and really truly want this community to thrive. I think we're so lucky right now with the amount of talent and wisdom and
I agree.
knowledge that gets poured back in. I remember when I started like that, it was just a very different industry. There
Hmm.
wasn't the resources, there wasn't the humans that had been in the trenches before and want to, extend their hand back and just, pull people up and get you into a better,
Yeah.
season in the business. And there's so many educators that I get to have such great personal conversations with, and the love that they have for this community, I think is just so stellar. And so making sure that, you connect with people that are here to help. Again, there absolutely is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a lot of people that are here to help you figure it out.
Yeah. I love it. That'll be our mic drop right there. All right, Ashley, where can listeners learn more about you and connect with you?
Yeah, best place is Instagram. I'm in the DMs all the time, so we're just
Okay.
the abundance group over at Instagram, and yeah, connecting there. I love a voice note back and forth. Who'd have thought, Kevin? Who'd have
Yeah.
thought that I love to talk to my
Yeah,
friends?
I
Um,
would have no clue that you would
yeah,
like to
right.
do that.
But
So,
again, just come to me, with however I can be helpful. I'd love to connect. Like I say, y'all are my favorite. This wedding community is just, and again, I've had the blessing to be around a lot of different types of entrepreneurs in my years, and there's just something that this community has my heart, and I love it. So if I can ever be helpful, come hang out with me on Instagram. I'd love to connect.
I love that. All right. We will have all of Ashley's information in the show notes as well as the email blast that goes out to everyone. And then, Ashley, you mentioned a few freebies. If you wanted to throw those in, we'll be happy to share those with everyone
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Yep. So, and then I guess the big burning question that I have to ask is what park is your favorite? Disney park is your favorite?
Oh, the nostalgically, of course, Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Epcot, though, if I'm with my, the adults, the adult park, Epcot. Are you a Disney? I mean, I see them. I
So,
see
yeah.
them up there.
So I'm California, so we're Disney. I'm very
Oh, sure,
partial to
sure.
Disneyland and California Adventure.
Mhm.
But we've been to, we just did a Disney cruise at Thanksgiving last year, and we did Disney World after.
Yeah.
And Epcot still is my favorite.
I
Anytime
mean,
I'm,
especially
yeah,
during a festival. I don't know,
yeah.
Kevin. I know we don't know each other super well, but, I have Olaf, Chip, I have
Oh, I
Casper,
love it.
I have, Pua on my arm. Like,
I love it.
Disney is life. I love it.
No,
You
and
can
there's
be a
so it
kid.
is fun. So many people in the wedding industry that love Disney, and I think a part of it is I go there and I get creative. I'm like, wow, that would be fun to do at a wedding. Oh God,
Yeah.
you look how they did that, and just I'm more intrigued by the how they do it, and like how
Oh,
the
yeah.
magic. I love how the magic's made,
It's
and
the best
so
marketing, like, research and development, how their guest experience, how they
mhm.
create such raving fans that will literally tattoo their bodies with
I know, I know,
and you
I
just
know.
get to, like, for me in the Disney bubble, I just get to, like, be a kid and run around and,
Yeah, it's just fun.
be a goof and enjoy
Yeah,
it, but,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I would say, Magic for sure, Epcot, but I have bucket list to go to every Disney park in the world, so we'll
And how
see.
many have you made it to?
Not enough.
Okay.
Only the ones in the US,
Oh,
so
okay.
far, but, Paris was gonna be on the docket in
Yeah.
'26, but, bunch of speaking engagements and stuff,
Yeah, I have so
hard to
many
fit.
friends that are going to Disneyland Paris, and
Yeah,
everyone said like people love it or they don't like it. They're all over the place.
yeah.
So
You have to, like,
yeah,
love it for what it is, right? Because like,
I
if you're
think
a world
that's
person and you
yeah,
turn the corner at land and you're like, "Where's the castle at?" Right?
yeah,
Like, you have to go with your, the expectations of what the park is, but yeah, no, it's
yeah.
magical. We
I
are now good friends if we were in the Disney
There you
Disney
go.
cult together.
We are, we are. Yep, we have the pass. We're going in
Oh,
a
I
couple
love
of
it.
yeah. Kids get out of school next week, and we're headed to Disney. That's the first
That's
trip
the
of the
dream.
summer. Yeah. So we're well. I mean, it's about it. Just creates a good family time. So
I
that's what it's
agree.
about. Is so.
Wholeheartedly.
Anyway, all right, Ashley. Thanks, and thanks for everyone for hanging on to listen to us talk about Disney.
Us
But
nerds.
yeah, us nerds nerding out. So, all right, folks. Thank you for listening to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. We'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business, brought to you by Wedding IQ. If you've got a topic you'd love to hear us cover, or if there's an area of your business you're struggling with, let us know, and we'd be happy to help. Don't forget to check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a fan, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and left a review. It helps more wedding pros find us and learn more from our guests too. Thanks again for listening to Mind Your Wedding Business. We'll catch you next time.